Okay, so we are live. Welcome everyone. This is Hamza from FCS Trading, and in this live stream, we're gonna be looking on the technical analysis of major cryptos and some forex pairs. We're gonna be going through the technical analysis of commodities um, and indices as well. So let's start our conversation by discussing our trade setup that we are having at the moment. So if I go toward the NZD CAD right here, I am basically expecting a move lower on this NZD CAD right now. So the reason behind this bearish continuation setup is very simple. If we look on the, let's say, 4-hour time frame, let's start our conversation from the 4-hour time frame and see what's going on the bigger picture. Even if we start from the daily time frame, we can see that the overall trend on the NZD CAD is very bearish. We are making lower lows and lower highs. Market has been continuing moving lower. We can see market has made this low. We have this high, lower low, lower high, and we are basically continuously making lower lows and lower highs here on the daily time frame of NZD CAD. So the overall bias is clearly very bearish on the daily time frame. Now, if we shift toward the 4-hour time frame, what we can notice is that market is basically making lower lows and lower highs again. Give me a second. I'm gonna remove the drawings uh, just to show you guys what we are expecting. So on this 4-hour time frame, if we mark the market structure, we can see and that market has created this low. We have this high, low, this high, low, high, lower low. Okay, I can even use the pen, I guess, to show what we are expecting. So on the NZD CAD 4-hour time frame, we can see market has created this low, created this high, a lower low at this point. It was followed by a correction that hit this supply zone. Then market made a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower highs, and market has been continuously making lower lows and lower highs. At this point, market basically started to make a correction toward the upside direction, ABCD correction. So we have this A, we have this basically B overall, and we have this C. ABC correction after this continuation to the downside direction. Now, if we basically use the Fibonacci expansion tool at this point, what we can notice, let's say start from this point to this point, we can say, now this is not expansion, this is expansion tool. So from this point, and if we make this area, we can see this was a 78.6 area of retracement. So a perfect example of an ABC correction. So what market actually did was that it actually created this ABC correction toward the upside direction. Basically, if we use the first wave right here, then this is kind of a ABCD. But anyway, this was a corrective phase and this was an impulsive phase. So impulse correction, and what are we expecting after that? Another impulse toward the downside direction. Now, if we pay attention clear enough, this area is a key level of supply on the NZD CAD. So we have this supply zone, market basically testing this area of supply at this point. So because the overall trend is bearish, I am expecting that market is likely to do some sort of bearish continuation on the NZD CAD 4-hour time frame. So that's what we are expecting right now on the NZD CAD. So keeping this phenomena in our mind, let's mark this key level of support become resistance. So we have this complete support become resistance level on the NZD CAD. Okay, we can even mark this area as well. Now because if we basically mark the recent one, this is a supply zone, so this is actually a key level of resistance on the 4-hour time frame. Now, keeping this in our mind, if we drill down to the 2-hour time frame and let's mark the structure here. What's going on the 2-hour time frame? Let's mark that up. So on the 2-hour time frame, we can clearly see that market has been making lower lows and lower highs. Market made this high. We have this low. Market made this high, low, lower high, and a lower low at this point. Then market basically shift the structure to the upside, make this high, low, a higher high, and after completing this correction to the upside, this is called V correction with a liquidity grab to the upside direction. So market grabbed the liquidity above this area, and now it is again making lower lows and lower highs. We have this low, high, a lower low, and now market is basically testing this area of resistance. So keeping this in our mind, if I zoom in here, let me actually save the okay, screen is working fine. Okay, great. So if we zoom in here, we can notice is that this is a evening star candlestick pattern. Okay, I'm gonna remove this here just to show you guys what we are seeing on this NZD cat setup. So we can say that we have this evening star candlestick pattern right here, and this was a supply zone. Market basically tested this area of supply right here, and we saw initial reaction to the downside direction. Now if this trend is going to be continuing to the downside direction, then we should expect some sort of a downside continuation from this level. So that's what we are expecting right now on the NZD cat. So due to this, all this basically calculations and everything, so we can see we have this area of resistance right now on the NZD cat. So market is basically testing this area. This is a key level of resistance, and market is showing a reaction to the downside direction from this level. And also what we can see is that this is overall a bearish trend as well. Now if we go toward the 1-hour time frame, we can see that if I remove this here, you can see there is this order block area as well. So we have this order block right here. So if I mark this line right here and a line on the upper wick as well, so this is basically an order block zone. So when the market tested this area of order block, we expect a continuation toward the downside direction. So keeping this in our mind, and after everything what we have seen so far, let me just write it here as well, that this is a bearish order block right here. So we have this bearish order block, and we have this strong area of resistance as well. We have this overall resistance area, and if we see the volume reaction to see what's going on, so we have perfectly highest volume so far of the session, of the London session. So far this is the highest volume. So when we see a highest volume on the top, this is basically exhaustion example. So that means there is exhaustion going on right here. So due to that, we can expect that market is likely to drop lower. We can give a stop loss just above this area, and we can expect basically a continuation towards the downside direction on the NZD cat. Okay. Now this is basically the analysis behind this trade setup, and obviously we see a candle closing above this order block um, let me just, if we see basically a closing above this order block, we can expect a invalidation of this bearish idea. But other than that, yes, we are more likely to push lower from this area. Okay. Now, obviously, there are some key levels of support. We have to manage our position once we got in, and let's see how this one plays out. Let me just uh, make some setting on the bitrate of stream. Mm, there we go. It should be working now. More likely, it should be working great. Okay, anyways, so that's what we are looking on the NZD CAD right now, um, on the overall from whatever we have seen on, from the top down analysis. So let's see how this plays out, how this setup plays out. Now, when we talk about the yesterday setup of NZD um, I have already moved my stop loss to the break even. So we entered a sell trade yesterday around this area, around here. It started moving lower. Now my risk is basically zero from this area. Um, okay. So basically, this was the yesterday's trade that we took from this area. I have already closed 60% of the trade from yesterday, and my stop loss is on break even on the NZD-CHF. Let's see how this one plays out. Now, without further ado, I am going to go ahead and have a look on gold and cryptos and some other pairs as well. Hmm. So let's have a look on gold and see what's going on here. And first of all, I'm gonna go to the weekly time frame, okay, and see what the bigger picture telling us. So on the higher degree, what we can notice is that we have this area of resistance right here. We have this area of resistance, and we have area of resistance right here as well. Okay, so these are two key levels of resistances. Now we have a bullish order block right here on the bottom that market has already traded off of. So market has already reacted to this order block, and then it tested this resistance area. Now if we look the overall trend, if we look at the overall trend, we can see that market is basically, this was this our A, B and C. Okay, more likely this was a C, but market has actually closed below this area. It has actually closed below, so it is actually invalidating our ABC right here. Okay, so if we would have some sort of wick rejection right here, some sort of sweep rather than a close below, then we would be expecting a continuation to the upside direction on the higher degree. But so far market has broken below um, this level. Now what we are expecting right now, let's have a look on the very recent price action and see what's going on. So right here we can see market has made this low, a high, lower low, lower high, a lower low, tested this area of resistance, and now we are expecting continuation towards the downside direction. So that's what we are expecting right now on the gold. um let me just okay. So the overall, okay, the trend has been bearish overall. Now let's move on to the daily time frame now to see what's going on. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, and I'm gonna mark this area of supply right here. And if we mark the structure on the daily time frame right here, what we can notice is that market has been clearly making lower lows and lower highs. So we have this low, high, lower low, we have this high, test of supply zone, break of structure to the downside. um, we have this lower high, test of this supply zone, market broke below this area. This is the internal structural area, market is pushing lower, and now there is this support area right here and on the bottom. Now right now, if I zoom in right here and mark this key level, so we have this key level of support right at this point. So if this is a key level of support, and let's mark this area, this is basically, if we use this as a structural point, let me just show you. So if we say that, okay, this was a retracement and this is basically a break of structure, then this is basically our Quasimodo area. So this is called QM, okay, at this point. So if this is the QM area, what should we expect now? We should be expecting a some sort of uh, push to the upside direction from this level. On the other hand, if we broke below this support, then we can expect a move lower toward this area of support. Now, one more thing is that if we go on the 4-hour time frame uh, on the gold, and we can mark basically this order block right here, you can see market is basically just consolidating around this order block. So that's also a bullish area to keep your eyes on. So that's a very important area on which gold is moving around. If we go on the 1-hour time frame and mark the order block, this order block right here, this bearish candle, I'm gonna mark this as blue. So market has tested this order block and we are seeing some sort of reaction here on the gold order block. Now market can do some sort of range here. In my opinion, there is a key level of resistance right here. Okay, so market can do some sort of range inside this area. Now if we see kind of a breakout from this area of resistance, if we see some sort of a breakout, then we can basically look for a retest and then continuation higher. On the other hand, if market basically broke below this support area, then the next support is going to be roughly around here. That is going to be the next key level of support on the gold. So let's see how market reacts to these areas. If market is able to break out above, then we can expect a continuation towards the upside direction. Okay. Okay, so that's what we are looking on the gold right now. Let's quickly have a look on other pairs. This is Euro USD, GBP USD, or USD. I'm just searching if we have any trade setting up at this moment. If we don't have, then obviously we can just wait. and do some analysis on other pairs, obviously. And the decade is on entry right now, and the decade is on entry area at this point. Um, okay, let's have a look on US oil, because that's very interesting. What's going on with the US oil right now? That is very interesting. So I'm going to basically remove this. If we just focus on this area, we can see market has made this WXY right here, and we have this descending channel that has broken above. Now if we go on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that market is basically approaching this key level of support on the 4-hour time frame. If we do some sort of bullish rejection at this point, then we can expect a upside continuation on the US oil from this area. So let's pay attention to this area. That's very important area. Now on the 2-hour time frame, this is still a good level to keep your eyes on, and even on the 1-hour time frame, that's a very good level. You know what I'm gonna do? I am going to make a buy limit around here, so around this area. Let's mark a buy limit at this area. Now I am going to give a stop loss. That's my terminal right here. My stop loss is going to be right here. It is 7.734. 7.734. That is going to be the stop loss. Yeah. Let me just place Okay, good. So I have placed the buy limit um, lower around this area. So let's see, I'm expecting some sort of a upside bounce from the this area on the and US oil. So that's what we are seeing on the US oil. Now let me have a look on BTC, Bitcoin versus USDT. So Bitcoin, my analysis is still the same. We are expecting that obviously market is inside this ABC correction, and on the daily time frame we are just ranging right here. So my view is that if the market is able to just break above this high, then we can see a continuation higher up to this point. But if the market just break below this key level of support on the BTC, then we can expect a continuation towards the downside direction. Let me actually make watermark as well so that you guys can actually see which pair we are analyzing. Um, so that's the key level um, on the Bitcoin that we are seeing right now, this area of support. So let's see how this one plays out on the BTC USDT 4 hour time frame. Now, um, with that being said, let's have a look on some indices. Um, Before going to indices, maybe we can just check out the Ethereum. So let's have a look what is going on the Ethereum chart. This is weekly time frame. Obviously, we can see that market has completed its ABC D pattern right here. So we have this RA, we have B, we have actually C. So we have this ABCD completing at this point, and we saw the reaction of that, and then market basically just rejected from this key level of resistance. Market rejected from this area, and we basically start to see some sort of bearish continuation. Now on the weekly time frame, we can mark some key levels of support. So we have this area of support. Basically, this is a demand zone. Last push down before this rally. So this is a small demand area, the very recent demand zone. And below this support, we have next support roughly around here. Okay. So now if we go to the daily time frame and see what's going on the daily, we can see market has basically created this order block right here. So we have this whole order block, three black rows, and then push higher. Failure of black rows. Basically, this is another type of um, order block. So just completely, if we add together this 3 day candles, so on the 3 day time frame, this is going to be the one candle. If we use only these three, that is going to be an order block. So that's why this is a key level of support for the Ethereum. Now this is 12 um  1218 area, and we have a major refined order block at this point. So from this area we would be looking for buying setups, but right now on the 4 hour time frame we can see this is clearly a key level of resistance that market is just um, moving around, and we have a bottom range of support. So Ethereum is also inside this support area. That means if market continue to move in this area, we can expect a sideways movement right here, something like this. But if we see a breakout below this support area, then we can see a continuation lower. On the other hand, a break above would act as a key level of, basically it will act as a continuation toward the upside direction. So that's what we would be expecting on the Ethereum 4 hour time frame um, right now. So after the Ethereum, let me just basically um, Okay, good. So let's jump on to some indices. Let me have a look on US30. Okay, good, good, good. What I'm gonna do is basically tell you guys what's going on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, we can see market is making lower lows and lower highs. Um, Clearly, we are making lower lows and lower highs. Uh, so let me just basically remove this and do some fresh analysis at this area. Hmm. So now, fundamentally, let me give you a couple of things on the fundamentals. So now remember on the COVID, when we have this crash on the COVID, I'm gonna do this. Okay, great. So we have this crash in the COVID. Um, so during this crash, right after the crash, the central bank of US basically they started to print money, and they start to print dollars continuously, and that basically uh, more printing of money and the value, the underlying value of the asset remain the same. And when we increase the money printing machine, when we speed up that process, that's basically end up giving us inflation. So that's one thing that we need to see. Print of money give us in the longer run inflation. Now, when they print all their money and they give stimulus checks to the people, they give this money as a lend to the different basically people who can invest and all those sort of things. So, end of the day, all this printed money, major portion of that came into the market, and we see our another all-time high after the crash. So, market basically just make an all-time high just after the COVID-19 crash. So that's COVID crash, s- COVID-19 crash, and after that, market just made an all-time high, um, due to the people investing that stimulus checks, investment, the investor who are basically borrowing loans from the banks and everything. All money came up into this US30, obviously all of the market, and it made an all-time high, but the inflation remained the same, and potentially the inflation start to increase. Inflation keep on increasing. Now inflation is very dangerous for any economy. Now when the inflation reaches the uh, 10-year high, the inflation reached the high as compared to the previous 10 years. The Fed came up and they said that we are going to tackle the inflation. We are going to do everything that is possible to make inflation go lower. So they start increasing the interest rates. So the interest rates start increasing. So whenever interest rates start to increase, there are two things that can happen. First thing is that um, people are less likely to borrow money from the banks because they have to pay higher interest rates. So the mm, people who are basically just using that loan to invest in there and then make more money and then give back loans to the bank, those people, they are now very cautious because they have to pay more money to get a loan from the banks. So now, because interest rates are high, there are not much enough investor into the market. And on the other hand, when the Fed is saying that we are, for example, giving 3.5 interest rate if you hold your money in the US dollar, obviously people are going to basically put their money into the dollar, the DXY. So that's why we are seeing DXY continuously moving higher, 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 and the other stock markets and other risk asset, they are just falling lower. So people are putting their money into the US dollar, and they are taking away their money. So that's why we are seeing the all the indices, all the stock market moving lower. So that's one thing. Second thing, and now if we talk about technical analysis, simply we can see market is making lower lows and lower highs. So let's mark the key level of resistances. So we have this key level of resistance right here. I'm taking this wick, this closing right here. That's the key level of resistance. And we have this basically bearish order block right here. Let's mark this area as well. So we have this order block right here as well. Now we have another area of supply on the top as well. So that's our key level of resistance. Now if we look on the weekly time frame, we can see the next key level of support is roughly around here at this area, and then at the bottom. So these are the two key levels of support right now. We can even adjust this area right here at this, and we can extend this to the right. So we have this test, and now markets are moving lower. Okay. Now if we go on the 4 hour time frame, what we can notice is that there is this short-term support area. We can see some sort of intraday reaction to this area, some sort of bullishness. On the other hand, if then we can expect a continuation more toward these downside areas. The overall, I would um, personally be only looking for buying opportunities. We would be looking for, let me see what's the problem with the stream. Just give me a second. There's an error in the stream. Let me just see. There is not enough to maintain smooth streaming, as such viewers will experience buffering. Why is it? Why we have buffering? Okay, now it's good. It's good now. Okay, so I would basically be more interested in selling rather than buying. So this is the area. If I see some sort of pullback to this area, I would be interested in selling opportunities on the US30. So these are all of the pairs that we are looking. We have looked through the major Forex pairs. We have looked through the indices and major cryptos. So that's what we are looking right now on these pairs. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap the stream here. Obviously, if you have any question or if you want anything, if you want analysis of any pair, you can just comment down below, and we'll be more than happy to assist you guys. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap the stream here, and I'll see you tomorrow in the learning session.